Nigga took a picture with Rick Ross. You like a hoe, nigga. Put your back against the wall and just slide down. Look at it. He's nothing giving. You've never seen 50 give nobody no flowers, no respect. He just play on people downfall. Diddy, Irv Gotti, Ja Rule. Yeah. Now Big Meech. You've never seen 50 say nothing positive, do nothing positive.
Looks like the drama between 50 Cent and Big Meech just got wild. Big Meech straight up embarrassed 50, poking fun at him for supposedly going broke over their feud, and it didn't stop there. Rick Ross jumped in with some savage tea, claiming 50 can't even secure a loan because his credit score's down bad. Ross even took it up a notch, saying he might just snatch up 50's masters if he doesn't quiet down, talking like 50's so broke he'd be forced to sell him off. That's cold, but if you know 50, then you know he ain't the type to let someone come for him without clapping back hard. He went full savage mode, threatening to drop receipts that would expose who's really struggling behind the scenes. Fans went into a frenzy. Like, is 50 really slipping with his money moves? Could he actually be close to losing that billionaire label he flexes so much? Or is Ross just tossing dirt to mess with him? There's a lot going on here. Let's unpack the mess. Word on the street is that Big Meech and Rick Ross might just get the last laugh in this wild beef with 50 Cent, because folks are saying 50 can't even afford to fund his own studio anymore. That's right, the rumors flying around are brutal. And Meech and Rose ain't wasting a second taking the credit for it either. They've been out here cracking jokes claiming 50's about to crawl back begging for handouts after getting drained dry. They're clowning like he's got lint in his pockets and a prayer in his hand. But let's keep it real. Are these two living in fantasy land or what? Because last time we checked, 50 Cent was sitting on billionaire status, and billionaires don't usually crumble over petty drama about who allegedly snitched and who didn't. Now, if you've been locked into this 50 versus Big Meech saga, you already know Rick Ross plays a major role in it all. The tension lit up after Big Meech linked up with Ross for a welcome home concert that was supposed to bring in big money for both of them. But guess what? That whole event got shut down at the last minute, and nobody's given a straight reason why. Suspicious much? Naturally, folks started pointing fingers at 50 Cent, saying he was behind the concert cancellation, thinking he didn't want Big Meech stacking paper with his sworn enemy. Even though 50 denied having anything to do with it, people weren't convinced. The streets were talking loud and they weren't buying that clean hand story. Rick Ross didn't hold back either. He came out blazing, calling 50 a hurt hoe and telling him to stop acting emotional just because he and Big Meech were moving big money without him. The shade was real and it stung. See, 50 never hid how he felt about the whole Big Meech and Ross connection. From the very beginning, he was throwing shots, calling Meech a straight-up rat. To 50, Rick Ross will always be Officer Ricky. And anybody rocking with him, yeah, they're getting a side eye from 50 every time. But it didn't stop there. This beef had layers. It turns out 50 had some real receipts stashed away, and he wasn't afraid to use them. Word is, he had paperwork showing Big Meech allegedly snitched on some people to get out of prison early. And then, boom, 50 dropped a bombshell that shook everything up. So get this, 50 Cent wasn't just throwing shade. He was cooking up a whole tell-all documentary about Tammy Cowens, and it was set to blow the lid off Big Meech's secrets. He was ready to drop all the gritty details, when, how, and who Big Meech allegedly snitched on. Now, if you know the backstory, Tammy isn't just some random name. She's been super close to Big Meech. Some say just friends, others whisper it might have been deeper than that. And here's where it gets real messy. Meech actually sold the rights to his life story to Tammy. That means she's the only one legally allowed to create books, films, or documentaries about him. So when that bond between them went sideways, big mistake. According to 50, Meech fumbled the bag by not keeping that connection tight. Now Tammy's out here singing like a bird about his shady past, and she's not holding back at all. While 50's building this expose, Rick Ross and Meech were still out flexing, trying to rub it in 50's face, talking like they're making moves and leaving him behind. Ross even popped off saying he's gonna make a BMF film and cash out on it. That was his jab after 50 announced the BMF series might get axed, since Meech and his son, Lil Meech, started switching up on him. But let's not forget, Tammy owns the life rights. So if anyone's gonna tell Meech's full story, it's her, and 50 was clearly ready to team up and unleash everything. So here's where it got even spicier. Tammy actually teamed up with 50 Cent to help produce the Black Mafia Family series, and let's be real, the show was fire. But once Big Meech linked up with Rick Ross, 50 wasn't having it. He pulled the ultimate move, straight up shut the whole series down. Petty or power play? You decide. Now here's the twist. Big Meech's son, Lil Meech, was starring in that series. Yeah, 50 was literally cutting checks to the same dude whose dad was beefing with him. And it wasn't chump change either. Lil Meech bagged over $5 million from the show, but here's where it gets real sad. Lil Meech didn't save a single dollar. He ran through that money faster than you can blink, blowing it all on flashy cars, iced out jewelry, designer fits, and a bunch of wild spending. No investments, no savings, just flexing. And with his dad still locked up, broke as ever, you'd think he'd hold down some cash to help give him a smooth return when he got out, right? Nope, not a dime left. Just smoke, mirrors, and empty bank accounts. Looks like Lil Meech really thought those BMF checks would roll in forever, but reality hit hard. Even Tony Yayo stepped in, calling him out for blowing the bag instead of stacking it for a rainy day. Yayo didn't sugarcoat it either. He said Meech Jr. messed up big time. Then things really popped off. When 50 Cent started trolling Big Meech heavy, Lil Meech slid into 50's DMs, trying to defend his pops. He was clearly feeling the heat and tried to smooth things over, but the tension was already on fire. Lil Meech told 50, "I can't believe this, man. You act like I'm your enemy. I've only showed you love and loyalty. I'm human. I got my own problems, but I never switched up on you, F. Ross. But he gave my dad some bread so he could pay his bills until our next season starts. This internet stuff is throwing me off, man." It sounded like a desperate attempt to explain that the Rick Ross link-up wasn't betrayal. It was survival. But in this messy game of loyalty, business, and beef, feelings don't always pay the bills. Lil Meech hit 50 with "You know me in real life," trying to keep it real and personal, but 50 wasn't moved at all. He clapped back with a bombshell that flipped the whole beef upside down. He dropped a screenshot of their convo and hit it with the cold caption, "What next season?" Basically announcing to the world that the BMF series was done. Just like that, over. But 50 wasn't stopping there. He let the world know he was taking the BMF story in a whole new direction. He's teaming up with Tammy for a tell-all documentary to expose Big Meech, who 50 now mockingly calls Big Screech. And yeah, that hit hard. This move crushed Big Meech and his son. Let's be honest, those BMF checks were keeping them afloat. And now, gone. Lil Meech already showed the world he ain't the best with money, blowing through $5 million like it's Monopoly cash. Wild. And Big Meech, after doing all that time behind bars for heavy charges, what kind of legit job could he really bounce back to? Truth is, if they want to keep living that flashy life, Lil Meech has to bounce back, either in acting or maybe by breathing life into a rap career. But after going head-to-head with 50 Cent, those chances are looking real shaky. And right when things were looking grim, here comes Rick Ross, ready to make a move after 50 said he was shelving the series. So Rick Ross clapped back quick. He announced he's making his own version of the BMF series, claiming it's gonna blow anything 50's G-Unit studio could dream up out of the water. Bold move, right? But there's one huge catch. 50 Cent actually owns the rights to the BMF franchise. Yup, according to sources who spoke to TMZ, Ross can't just cook up a show without getting the go-ahead from 50 himself. And let's be real, there's no way 50's signing off on that. Not in this lifetime. But the drama didn't stop there. The second 50 made it clear he was done putting money into Big Meech's family, everything shifted. The loyalty, gone. Suddenly, they started showing love to 50's biggest ops, out in the open. Next thing you know, Lil Meech is popping up at clubs with Rick Ross, taking pics and posting them like trophies, basically making sure 50 sees it all. No more low-key shade, this was full-on betrayal in the spotlight, but it didn't stop there, not even close. Big Meech and Lil Meech decided to take the beef up another level by linking up with none other than Floyd Mayweather, another heavyweight op in 50 Cent's long list of enemies. And Lil Meech? He didn't keep it low-key. He posted up a pic with Floyd, dropping the caption "Real Power," a slick jab at 50's hit show. Power, petty or calculated? You decide. Then came another post, this time with the shush emoji, like he and Floyd were cooking up a secret project or making major plays behind the scenes. The message was loud and clear: Lil Meech was jumping off 50's team and fully taking his dad's side in the war. And here's what had everybody scratching their heads. Wasn't this the same Lil Meech who just slid into 50's DMs, dissing Rick Ross and swearing up and down that he was loyal? Just a few days ago, he was crying, "I'm human," and begging for understanding. Now he's out here making moves with all of 50's rivals. It's what happens when you got too many voices in your ear. Big Meech pulling one way, the streets talking, and Floyd whispering in the mix. Suddenly, it's like the whole family forgot 50 was the one who held them down when times were rough. Even Boozy chimed in, saying he didn't like how soft Lil Meech sounded in that message to 50. He told him straight, "If that were me, I would have made it clear where my loyalty lies. With my father, period, no questions asked." 50 was heated, and he finally broke his silence about why seeing Big Meech and Lil Meech rolling with his enemies hit so deep. He said straight up, "I did more for Meech than anyone in his life. Boozy knows, that's why he reacted like that. If Meech ever got locked up, I was the first one he called. I bailed him out every time." And then came the real sting. When I saw him laughing at his pop's post, I said, "Oh, he a snake too. He belongs with him." That cut deep. 50 wasn't just talking business. This was personal. He revealed that during Big Meech's time behind bars, he stepped in as a father figure to Lil Meech. He paid for acting school, helped clean him up when he was spiraling, and kept his pockets full so he wouldn't fall into the streets. It wasn't just a role in a show. 50 was building him up from the ground, trying to set him on a better path. So when Lil Meech switched sides, 50 felt betrayed for real. According to 50, everything flipped once Big Meech got out of jail. That's when things really went left. He said Big Meech started feeding Lil Meech bad advice, straight sabotaging everything 50 was trying to teach him. While 50 was stressing the importance of saving money and staying clean, Meech Sr. was out here gassing him up to blow cash and act reckless. 50 said, "I thought about it. I think he was uncomfortable with me and Meech Jr.'s relationship." It was like a power struggle. 50 trying to guide the kid, while his pops was telling him the wild lifestyle was cool. I'm telling Meech Jr. to stop doing drugs, and Big Meech is telling him about all the crazy stuff he used to do like it's some badge of honor. I tell him, "Chill, stop blowing your money." Then Big Meech jumps in bragging about how much bread he wasted. And it gets worse. 50 revealed he even had to send Lil Meech to rehab. Things got that bad. Actor Russell Hornsby noticed something was off when Meech Jr. showed up to set high as ever and ended up puking during a weapons test. Then Ian came through talking about he found whippets in Lil Meech's truck. 50 was confused. What the hell is a whippet? Turns out it's that gas stuff folks mess with, and it's got no business being around someone trying to build a real career. So for Lil Meech to throw all that help away and then start publicly disrespecting 50, straight up insane, but it ain't slowing down either. Rick Ross recently came back swinging, clowning 50 for allegedly being broke and saying he doesn't even have the funds to finish his new G-Unit studio. The disrespect just keeps escalating. Rick Ross wasn't done throwing shots. He claimed 50 Cent can't even secure a loan right now, saying the man's stuck with no way to fund his G-Unit studio. And Ross wasn't just talking. He threatened to buy 50's masters just so 50 could finally have a little cash in his pockets. That's straight disrespect on another level. Allegedly, when 50 saw Ross's video, he snapped. He started warning folks that he had receipts, real ones, to expose who's actually broke out here. And let's be honest, 50's not the type to bluff when it comes to public takedowns. He even laughed at the idea that Big Meech thinks this whole beef is hurting his money. Like seriously, 50's out here calling Meech's influence washed. He said Meech might have been a street kingpin back in the day, but now, not so much. And let's keep it 100. It's 2025. The economy's hanging by a thread. Diddy's behind bars, and most folks are just trying to survive the month. Nobody's losing sleep over an ex-con who's trying to play legend in a new era. That old school clout don't hit the same no more.